Dear fellow photographers, you're most welcome to this meeting. It's been a long-awaited meeting. I want to thank God because you made it to this place. Let us humble ourselves for a prayer, then we can start. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this morning. It's a bright morning. I want to thank you for the photography industry. We want to thank you for whoever has made it today. We want to thank you for the nature. We want to thank you for our country, Uganda. Bless us, and whatever we're going to discuss, let it be fruitful. In the name of Jesus Christ, in the name of Allah, we pray. Amen. So, most of you are very well aware that we are looking forward to seeing the photography industry going to the next level. We are looking forward to seeing more of unity than disunity in this industry. We are looking forward to getting more and more businesses, grabbing more businesses, business deals from the government, from grants and whatever, but there is nothing that can go on unless when we are united as one force. There are so many challenges we face as photographers, challenges concerning pricing, loss of equipment, and so on. So today, I won't be talking too much. I'm going to hand over you to some gentlemen here still from the photography industry. They'll be introducing themselves. Meanwhile, my name is Frank Kawea, Frank Evans Photography. And today we shall be having Golazo Studio. He's our host today. He'll be introducing the panelists. Some of you know him, some of you have met him, some of you have worked with him. And we share, let's have a dialogue about the face of the photography industry in Uganda and what can we do to solve these challenges that we have. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Frank, and I would like once again to welcome everyone. Tugeragezako okumikisinga tulabe nti buli omu abeeri accommodated, yeah? Tujja kumikisinga engeri gye twogera kuba twagala kibeere nga kiri interactive. Our main reason for coming here, like Frank has said, okulaba nti tufuna engeri gye tufuna force nga photography fraternity nti bw'otunuulira right now most of the professions zijoininze and they have one voice. Bwe bagenda kugenda okutuuka mu gavumenti bagamba fenga abayimbi, yeah? Fenga aba dancers, fenga aba witch doctors. Okitegeera, if witch doctors can somehow find a way of joining together ne babaako kye bakola ne bafuna ne audience ya president, because that's one of the highest offices in the land. It doesn't matter oba owagirana oba kiri nti you can get the presidency, because the presidency is an office. Presidency is not a person. Okitegeera, bw'otuuka ku point esobola okufuna audience ya presidency, yeah? That means that you have something, and bano abantu bagala okufuna audience yaabwe kyebasinga okusooka okubuuza, what are you bringing to the table? Okiraba, eh? As photographers and videographers aba meetings wano, some are here physically, abali online, eh? One of our biggest problems has been tubadenga one-man army. Now one-man army elabika yakoleranga mu 80s, mu 90s, early 2000, but this is 2022 banaye industry ekyuka. One of the things tetugenda okulaba nga twogera ku challenges, pricing ya equipment. Okitegeera, equipment yakolanga nga abantu bacoveringa functions 10 years back, kati bw'ogireeta kati ocoveringa function ogenda okuwa client wakanga gamba gwe nga twakoze nga gundi. Okirabe, naye nga gundi ye bw'aba akola agenda kuleeta equipment ali class, yeah? Kati oligira leero tinga ogundi yatwala jobs zonna kati fe abali eno ababaddenga kubanga tetulina unit eyo kati twagala twogere ku bintu. One of the things we're going to be discussing are the challenges we have been facing. Maybe I've mentioned some pricing your equipment. Frank mentioned thefts of our equipment and things like that. Kati njagala to introduce my co-panelist, and then we are going to move this thing. Twine da chikantono era njagala tukozesa obudde as profitably as possible tufunene way forward, and all this to moving towards the possibility tusobola forming joint body nga photographers abali in different fields. Let me introduce my panelists again akubabuzaako then tutandikirawo.
Okay, it's already afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would like to thank Golazo, Frank for the energy, and all those who have put this together. It's quite tricky to get photographers together for such a gathering, but it's good that it has happened today. I would also send condolences. News has just come in. There is a photographer, a Spanish photographer who has just passed on.
Oh.
I think she was involved in an accident somewhere around, I think, Nakasongola. I'm yet to find that information, but may her soul rest in peace. Here to talk and share my ideas about photography. I mainly do, my genres of photography are travel. I mean travel and lifestyle which cuts into weddings, fashion, and anything related to maybe documentary and that. Thank you, Olazo.
Yeah, but you didn't introduce yourself to the...
Okay, my name's Peter Terra. If guys have been online and seen a slow guy who posts on Instagram as Terra's Photography, that's me. You can put the face to the name. That's me. Then weddings, I have a different brand which I'm trying to revamp. I went into a hiatus of around 2 years. So I'm just getting back into the wedding bit of my photography. I've gone so much into travel. That's no short wedding.
Super, thanks Peter. Kati Peter, what I want us to mostly focus on, because our main goal, I'm a business trainer by the way, so I train businesses, you're all businesses. When I'm training businesses, I always start with one thing. Nti business yo wajitandika, what is your mumanyi mu abasoma Bible mumanyi kye bayita that star, the three wise men je ba following, yeah, to reach where the birthplace was, kati bwoba otandika business oba olina kubeera kye bayita north star, yeah. North star is your main aim. Most times bwe tutandika businesses, yeah, most of us tubeera njagala kusurvivinga, okiwulira, benfunayo 10,000-20,000 nensurvivinga, ya kati nobeera mu that bit eyokusurvivinga. Ekizibu ekirimu ekyo nti tobeera na ambition. Where do you want to go after here? Kati our north star as to why we have actually organized this meeting, titwagala tutuuke ku point creating a body, a joint body. Now that's our North Star. But for us to reach to the North Star, and this is what I always tell businesses, tulina soko tunulira our current journey. Kati, for instance, Peter has enough experience. Chenjaga soke tunulire from the experience. Kubanga at least one thing I'm very certain, nti buli omu ali wane nabali online, nti at least we have all been in the field for a minimum, absolute minimum of at least 3 years. Yeah? For at least 3 years to the field minimum, but I know most people have way much more experience, 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah, Peter, but challenges jokola, and we are going to get more from even the audience. As a photographer,
Yes.
doing what we are doing,
Yes.
what have been our biggest challenges? Over the share your challenges, tujja kulaba ne audience naye ejja kugamba nti I've also had this challenge about what Peter misses. Audience will add us more challenges. Let's first look at the challenges as a photographer.
The challenges are quite many, and I think I had noted down some of them. First and foremost, what gets you into this photography field? That's one of the challenges. Many of us are failing at getting right. What really gets you into the field? Why do you want to become a photographer, run a photography business? If it is for business sake of it, how are you going to break even? What kind of equipment will you need? Then if it's because you became a hobbyist, then later on, as a hobbyist, then later on you realize you can make a living off the photography business. That's another bit. The first is knowledge. What prompted you to get into this? And are you there for business? If it's yes, then you need to be knowledgeable about the craft of photography. It's an art, it's a craft. You need to be knowledgeable of its pros and cons, how it works. You will get the latest equipment, and you might not be able to get clients for a while. I know of a friend of mine who in Nairobi who got into the business, bought the gear, and she was struggling to get clients. You know, you're being called to go to homes and make the portraits, take the portraits, then payment becomes an issue, and they start tossing. So it has to be, you have to know the business bit of it. What is your aim? And then if it's business, you need to know the pros and cons, the mechanics of the mechanics of this trade. The mechanics of the trade. What equipment are you going to acquire? What genres are you going to measure in? Yeah, that's what genres are you going to measure in? There are very many genres. Then you need to cooperate, because in the field you join, but there are people who are there before you. So you need to at least cooperate with those who have been there ahead of you, those who are in the same field with you, the same industry, because photography is a big industry of its own. Only that it's not taken as an industry by some few, except for us who are in the business, who know this is an industry. But someone out there will call you cameraman, and you know. So you need to cooperate with those who have been there. Then also you need to be abreast with the new technologies. Now, COVID really gave us an eye opener. You know, when it hit and you realize, okay, technology has to be embraced. Before we were more rudimentary, you could do things manually, you deliver in you have to be there physically, you wait at the office for a client to come, they tell you at 2, the client shows up at 5, you have to wait, because you know. And then theft is one very major issue. Branding is another issue. How do we brand ourselves? Even if it's an individual, you're a travel photographer, you need to brand yourself in a way that someone will relate with you. If it's a company, you need to brand, you know. And then also, as we acquire this equipment and go deep and long into the field of photography, you need to insure it. We need to look into insurance. Personally, I'm actually, I had a number of issues, but I'm looking into that, because I remember going home, it was around late 2020, to see my mom, and she looked at my kit, and what crossed her mind quickly, she was like, you now need to buy a car, and you need to insure this. So I was actually blown off by her pinpoint suggestions, you know. She knew now where I've reached. I've been in the field for over 5 years, and I've acquired new equipment. She doesn't want to see me going to mixes of maybe being robbed or stuff like that. So maybe I can break down a little bit about the knowledge.
Just hold on 1 second as you continue. Yeah. So from what you've shared, and I want the audience to also join us on this, the challenges of payments, yeah? A lot of people, I think, face this challenge that you work for a client today and then payments, after you finish the work, the payments take forever to come through. Then we have a lot of people do not have what I was talking about earlier. A lot of people do not have a goal, the aims of starting. You talked about the challenge of people normally are not so they're not so aware of why they have started, why chose them photography business. Yeah. Then we have the bit of knowledge. Any industry or any kind of work to grow, you increase your knowledge. Maybe knowledge in editing, maybe knowledge in lighting, or knowledge in usage of different equipment. Yeah. Then the aim of specialization. How do we specialize? Do you want to specialize as a travel photographer? Do you want to specialize as a lifestyle photographer? How do we specialize? So we have the challenge of people choosing specialization. Exactly, the different genres. Okay. Then we have the cooperation issue, and I think this is one of our main reasons as to why we're here. Cooperating as photographers, cooperating as stakeholders in the field. Yeah. So there's a challenge of cooperation. Then there's the bit you talked about of people being unserious, that they think photography or our industry is about convenience. Pick a camera, go make some money, and then go back and relax. Sometimes we have worked with people who today they will shoot, then until the money is finished, they will not come back to the field. Exactly. So there is a lot of mediocrity. So, and those people, when you realize, they struggle to do what? They struggle to improve their knowledge. You understand, yeah? Because for them it's just a job for making quick money. Yeah. Then we have you talked about the challenge of technology changes.
Exactly.
That we are no longer into only analog or physical connection.
Exactly.
You're not going to sit, especially if you have an office or studio. It's no longer about sitting and waiting for passers-by on the road to come and then, you understand? So we have that challenge that as photographers we now have to figure out how to catch up with the technology, especially in marketing. Then we have the challenge of theft. This we have all faced. I have faced it, and a lot of others have also faced the bit of photography. Yeah, we need. Say that again, please.
Almost everyone.
Almost everyone. And equipment is expensive. Equipment is even more expensive for us in this part of the world because we are a landlocked nation for starters. So when you're a landlocked nation, everything that comes in, first and foremost, you pay heavy sums for shipping, and sometimes you even have to pay for taxes. Yeah?
Exactly. That's on top
of the cost of the yeah. So you find that you buy a camera at $2,000 from some place. In other places, they buy a camera at $2,000, they just continue and go on and start shooting. Yeah. For us now, you have to pay for shipping, you have to pay for taxes.
Exactly.
And then after that, someone steals the camera and the equipment. They normally don't just steal a body. They steal the camera with the lens, and sometimes with even the lighting. People have had their cars broken into. That's a challenge that we're having. Yeah. Then we have the challenge of branding. It's not easy. Because as the industry gets more populated, as we get more people, sometimes the only thing that can help you to stand out is how you brand yourself.
Yeah.
So we have to learn, or we have to figure out how I have to brand myself. And with branding, you can even add a bit of cooperation because there's what we call business synergies. So sometimes you can brand to complement yourself and your next or your nearest fellow photographer, and in that you can build a certain kind of branding. I think these people that normally benefit from these are the people that work in places where there's a lot of photographers, like downtown, eh?
Yeah.
Ngawalo, a lot of photographers, yeah. So sometimes those people gain from one another. So we can also look at those. Then you also talked about insurance. The challenge with insurance, what I have heard, is that when you insure photographic equipment, they will insure the equipment when it's at your office or place of work. So when you go to the field, they cannot they don't give you protection. And this is, and it's not only in Uganda, it's almost all over the world. People have insured, and then when they face this challenge of theft, they go for insurance to help them, and it tells them we cannot help with that.
This one I saw a flyer for Britain saying insurance is your passion or something. But it must be either studio or place of work.
That's what they normally say. But we can.
Yeah.
I wanted to insure cameras.
Yes.
He said if you happen to use that camera outside of the event or any venue, sure I don't insure.
One second. Let's get a mic for you so that Frank had a mic.
Basically, I was complimenting. Actually, I did on the insurance bit of it. If you have, for example, cameras which you use in the field, no one will actually ever insure. Like no insurance company in Uganda. I've tried like 3, and I wanted to insure equipment that we use outside that are actually most risk. They said no, we don't insure your cameras unless you want to keep them in office and they'll be there and they'll be maybe stolen from there. Then we can insure it. How can we guarantee things that are in the field, and how will you know them? So I gave up on insurance basically for that, because that was my intent, basically my interest in insurance.
Thank you very much. On the bit of insurance, from a legal perspective, the steps I'll try to take to see that we secure our equipments.
Yeah.
You see, we lack a voice, what you just said. We lack a comprehensive voice or a collective voice that can demand these policies to be actualized. And I'm sure our equipment go beyond 30 million. One equipment, like a camera, that is expensive. If at all a car that is moving
Can be insured.
That is 15 million, 20 million. How about a camera? So all we need is what you've just been talking about, a collective voice. Things can work out if at all we have a demanding table.
Exactly. Exactly.
If at all insurance companies have failed to actualize this, they have got a regulator as well, Uganda Insurance Regulatory Authority. So as we are demanding as clients to these ICA insurance companies or whatever UAP companies, we can have a step from demanding as individuals and we start demanding as a collective voice. Then we shall not go to ICA. There we shall go to Uganda Regulatory Insurance Regulatory Authority, and we come up with a comprehensive plan. We design how to have the things insured. Then things will work, and I'm sure we shall actualize that if at all we get there.
Exactly.
The business of demanding as one person, that's where I'm still lamenting, but we shall get there. And they'll insure them.
That's very good. So, yes, please.
Hello everyone.
Yes, please.
This is George from St. George Pictures. Well, that thing about insurance, this is how I'm going to talk about it. Because I've done some research and also have colleagues who are working in different insurance companies. For example, Prudential and other insurance companies. This is what they say when I approach them based on our equipment. First of all, what I got to know about these guys, they don't know the value of our equipment. When they see with a camera, they can't easily tell that camera is worth equivalent to more than a car or any other asset. So they told me, mainly when they want to insure our products, our equipment, mainly our gear, they always talk about the immediate cause of the risk. It's what they want to insure mainly.
They insure against the immediate cause of the risk.
The immediate cause. And they told me, if you say it's theft, they are going to go ahead and say theft from where? Is it the studio or at your workplace or in the field? So they have to if you're insuring mainly and you say my immediate cause or maybe theft is at my office, at workplace, they have a certain sum of amount that will charge many of the rates. And mainly if it's outside or when you go in the field you're doing mobile things, they have different rates which they always put as well. But the only challenge, I think is the challenge to many insurance companies is like the payment after the loss. They always come up to juggle with the payment.
Yeah.
So if they steal your equipment, if it happens to you lose your equipment maybe when you're coming from work in the field and you are maybe insured, maybe theft at the studio, the thing, the product, the gear, you've lost it, but they will not pay, they will save the immediate cost to insure from the studio when you're coming from work from the field. So that is the main challenge they have. But those guys, when I was talking to them, they were willing to insure out.
That's very good. And sorry, we should be introducing ourselves with names, at least a company or something. So okay, St. George, very good. Sorry, Afrix concepts, Afric concepts. So this is one of the reasons as to why we are trying to come up with a joint body. For once we have a joint body, we can influence policy. You understand? Policy not just in local council governments, but policy also in service providers, people that we are supposed to work with. And we know in our field we actually end up working with a service providers. Sometimes we even surprised at how many service providers are actually dependent on what we do. So once we move towards formulating a body and we incorporate our body, then we know that we fall under that. One of the things we are going to be looking at, when we form our body, because one of the things they will ask for us before we incorporate, before we register our body, they'll be asking us for the memorandum of understanding. Then we will have to come up with board resolutions. Basically what we need, we shall have to start coming up with policies of how we are going to run this whole organization that we shall form. Anyway, so we have looked at the challenges, and sometimes they've been suggesting solutions to some of these challenges, but we have some challenges also that have not yet given us possible solutions. Like for instance, the challenge of payments. One time, I'll share a story. One time when I had a client who was taking long to pay, especially when you've done things like weddings and you finished, because you're not going to ask someone now pay me when they are changing or they have to go for honeymoon, whatever. But then after, when you're done with that, they're going to be asking, when you're done, well, when the wedding is done and you've done editing, then they're going to be asking for the pictures, and then you ask for the payments, and then they try to take you around circles. So one of the things I remember I said, I told one client, if you don't pay me by this time, I'm just going to bring this before the forum. You understand, the forum that joins wedding photographers. And the client was so fast to respond because he feared if I bring him before the forum, maybe the forum will now start throwing legal requirements, throwing the letter of the law. So I realized how important it is to have this body, Like for instance, if we have a body, a joint body, and we can come together and we say, there's a client who has taken long, and if we have maybe someone we have put on a retainer as our legal advisor, the legal advisor can easily write a demand notice to a client, on behalf of the body. You see that, So we have a very good chance. And I don't know what other solutions people have used for clients that are taking long to pay, because some of us have I'm sure you all have situations. You have clients that have not paid, and when you put together the money, it's almost 30 million. But which business survives when they have to be paid 30 million and clients are holding it in, you know?
Exactly. One could be having a simple contract. I have done it a number of times, and most of the clients shun away from the contracts, especially the wedding clients. They are very tricky guys. When they come, they are good. When they are booking you for the first time, they are very good and understand it. But one thing I would advise my fellow photographers is, these are human beings. They become cunning later on. So what you do, you can have a contract which states what you're delivering, at what time, when will you start shooting, when are you getting to the set, if it's saloon. I personally don't do kasuze katia because that is more of something extra. I have it as a different package. So I would say I will start from maybe the preparation at the saloon to end of the party. And then you can also indicate maybe you can be on set from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So in case there's an extension to midnight there and you guys agreed on the contract, you can decide to move. If you're far and you know it's not safe for your equipment and your crew, that can also help you out. Another thing, if the contracts become tricky, like some say, no, we shall not sign this, I'll pay you. And at times, those who have said that to me have paid, because they know I sent them via email a contract and they downplayed it. But back in their minds, they know, I need to pay this guy, because I take their emails and I send them the contract to fill in and send it back to me. So if they really did not do that, I have at least a standing ground if we go legal. Like I sent this, the guys didn't agree on ABCD. Secondly, you can have the fine print on your receipts. Somewhere down, you guys rarely take note of the fine print. You say Afri concepts, every wedding photography, blah blah. Then down is fine print with maybe T&Cs, terms and conditions. They will not take time to read that. So that can also be proof that this was delivery time, ABCD, and maybe in case work is not picked at a given time, you're not liable to some small, that could also help you. Yeah, but payment is usually tricky. At times they get you flat-footed, and you may say like, hey, come for your deposit. It's all tricks. And have learned the tricks of the clients. Rarely do I deliver the wedding photos before the video. I tried it 5-6 years ago and it worked. When you deliver the wedding photos, then you deliver video, they will keep taking you back and forth, correct this, correct this. And at times video, we don't do it. If it's Golazo, you have some other person doing videos. So the other person could be good and on demand. He's not going to keep sitting 3 months after the event to correct some small, maybe the song wasn't good, I didn't like the song for the short video, the short film. So they keep you darting back and forth. So what you do, deliver the video. That's some bit of advice I would give my guys. I deliver the video. Nice video is put on their YouTube channel, and then okay, fine. I wait for the balance and I can give you the photographs. Why do I do that? You will not watch a video in darkness, but you can watch the albums on candlelight, on the torch, for their guests whenever they come home. And once that is there, they will not think about the video. Even the wall hangings, you send them images via WhatsApp, and tomorrow you find them being printed. They have given them to another photographer that goes now to integrity, but it's hard, you can't tell. I give my client some photos via WhatsApp, and 4 months down the road, they are not coming through for the final work.
One of the things that I want, because now time is running,
sure.
One of the things I want us to talk about, I don't know, some of you, if you've taken pictures for clients and you've given them, American clients, they take them abroad. When they go to print, at any printer in America,
You will ask for consent.
they will ask them to produce a consent
From the
before they print
photographer.
from the photographer.
Very
And the client will call you and ask you, can you please write for me a consent?
Yeah,
One of the reasons as to why we want to come up with this body is so that we can actually try to enforce this. Yeah? So that we can try to enforce this. For instance, if a client comes and shoots a picture, I've started to actually do this personally as me. When a client comes with a picture that I did not shoot, I'll ask them for the what? For the photographer consent, yeah? Or at least something. Because sometimes they'll bring for you pictures that are not even the best of quality because they're sent to them via WhatsApp, yeah? So they're not high quality photos, but they want them printed because they've got them from another photographer. Yeah, so one of the things we want to do, we want to create policies as a body that we can try to push. We know the most printers that we use as photographers, yeah? Can we somehow try to push these printers to help us as well, that clients cannot just come and take what? And print pictures without a consent, yeah? Especially pictures which you can see, like someone comes to you with a picture of 560 kilobytes. You know for sure that's not it's not a high quality resolution picture. So we are talking about payments. I want us to close payments faster because I want one of the other things before we close. We shall talk about financing, and then we shall also talk about the cooperation thing that we talked about.
Moderator, thank you very much. You know, when I was responding to the advertisement by my brother to your work, I indicated that I will be attending in person for 30 minutes. And I want to be strict with that so that I can also arrest some other.
Yes.
But I beg to make my submission progressively. And then permit my leaves.
Definitely. I actually, you don't even have to run off because I think in 15 minutes we shall be closing completely. But yeah, please submit.
To do with payments, we are more of looking at our own payments, but then from clients. Then we've also had issues of we have lost work to deliver to clients. We've also had issues of failure to pay for a photographer that manned you on set.
Yes.
So, from a legal perspective, because that's where I come from, and I've not been in active photography where I happened to be on field for 2 years, ever since I joined politics and all that. But I've labored to be available in the industry because this is my passion, and I started way back from high school. So most of the cases that I've received, actually I'll be my witness, we had issues from the group where we have issues of the fellow photographer didn't pay for the photographer. We had issues of clients calling you that this company, they didn't labor to deliver my work. And I've been burdened as an individual to handle issues from across divides where I'm just handling as a person. In most cases, I happen to drive them to settlement, which is work, but then I see there are moments where I'm not going to be available as an individual. People are calling you, they don't even know you, but they have been referred to you. But then sometimes they're not even available. You shall find our colleagues in sales. So I've happened to move to several of our colleagues, a number of them, and I've tried to interest to them to incorporating our unification, and they are welcoming. But the challenge is they're not willing to be a part of the initial stages. Because initial stages require time, require further resources. You understand? And the time we are talking about is this kind of time we are having right now, where it is a public holiday. Most of our clients, they see it as a day suitable for having a function. So most of them are in the field. And other days, they are working on seeing that they make production for the work. So it is very hard for them. But then, it won't stop us from moving. Some of us have time because maybe I don't have time to sit on the laptop to produce work, but I have time to scrutinize it at night when I go back or when it is sent to me, and also have time to come and sit in these meetings. So I'm of a view we are having the same problems, but they all arise from having lacking a unification body, which is going to be a voice for our problems. For the payment bit of it, to start with, nobody is not going to be paid if at all we have a legal desk to handle our issues. Nobody is not going to be paid if at all your company is registered.
Yes.
You understand? Because these will be the bare minimums that you'll be having in our memorandum. That for one to be a member of this association, you have to be a registered member. I mean a registered company with the government. Whereby these are the things we're going to present to government. That you see, we are getting clients for URSP. They are registering their companies, and this is what we want. In other words, if at all a client comes to understand that this body is recognized by government, and government is also recognizing us as a clientele, that we are giving them a very big number of people.
Yes.
Because, yes, we have a very, very, very big number of companies, but I'm sure we are like 5% that are registered.
Exactly.
And if at all they happen to go to register today, most of their names are not going to be accepted. Why? Today we are having Golazo here. They are around 100 Golazos outside there. You understand? But for him, he's registered. So most of them, they won't be what? Registered. And these are the things that are going to clean from what? Most of the people are operating with your name, where you're not. But the only way to erase those problems is by coming up with a body that is going to be
our voice.
Our voice. You understand? The question of paying a photographer paying a fellow photographer. This is simple. If I told both of them registered whatever, registered with the association, and even if one of them is not registered with the association, it will be a mandate for us to demand. You understand? For our member. You have just talked about a person that a colleague that lost whatever, a relative.
Yeah.
We are not in the know. Why? Because there is no umbrella for us to come to understand these issues that are taking place. But if at all we knew, we would have said, some of us are having a meeting, this number is going to attend the burial, and this is the money that we're going to use on the burial. Because we are going to have issues to do with membership fee, annual subscription, whatever, all those. And it is for the benefit of our colleagues. Because if I may say, if at all you don't have a capacity to have a company, but you have capacity to provide your services through a certain company, then you will staff for that company. But what we shall do, this is my suggestion, what we have to do is to make them come to be a part of us. We are going to be registering a membership for companies. But each company is going to be telling us or registering with us its staff. You understand? Whereby, if at all you fail to pay your staff, who is a subscriber through your umbrella to this association, you'll be having voice, audience from us, so as for us to demand from you to pay this person.
Yeah, exactly. So that would mean that as we form this, there's also going to be need for us to form what we call a disciplinary committee.
Exactly.
A committee that will be handling queries and complaints.
Because the omnibus picture of us having this unification is to see that we solve problems. Exactly. Bottom line, solve problems. Even if it's to do with how are you going to get money, how are you going to get bigger clients. It is to do with solving the problem of not having what? Bigger clients. The same applies to that question of yours. It is to do with solving problems within the industry. And the only way to do it is to have a unification body.
Exactly.
That is the number one bit of it.
Okay.
And it should be not later than this year.
Exactly.
It should be this year.
So as we wrap up, that's very good. Okay. All right. Please introduce yourself, either company or name, and then your query. But let's be brief. Let's be brief because now I think time is not on our side.
Colleagues and students,
Yes.
from Process Studios.
Yes.
And my submission is
Speak louder.
my submission is just simple. When we're talking about problems, we're talking about everything that is affecting us. By the way. Many challenges, we've talked about them. I have so couple of them. But then, what is the way forward?
Exactly.
The way forward is, are you willing to register? Are we willing to get together? Are we willing to, we should look at what does it take to register? What do we want? What should we do? Then the other problems, the other issues will come. Okay. So right now when we talk about issues, we talk about how to solve the problem. We are not yet registered. We should, we are we are way far away from the reality.
Yeah. So
let's first get to the reality. Because we may start right now and say we are just these are requirements. Let's look at the requirements. These are requirements. Are we all willing to go together?
So
look at the requirements, get it done, we create it. Once it's created, other issues are coming.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, there are very many that are not finished, but let's look at the core.
very true. The reason why I wanted us to start, because remember what I said when we were beginning, we have a North Star. The North Star is unity, or creating that joint body, yeah? And the reason why I've started us off with looking at things like the challenges we face, so that we can actually see that, there is a reason, to actually appreciate that there is actually a reason for us to form this body. Now you've seen that we have these challenges, and most times they cut across all of us. We all face these challenges, and everyone has been coming up with individual solutions. But imagine if we now start coming up with a block solution together as one, and we come up with joint solutions. So one of the things we're going to need documentation, like for instance policies. How do you raise a complaint? How do we come up with these policies of procedure? It's in order to create structure. I know we don't like a little bit, but we want to create a little bit of structure so that we know that we have processes, and that is going to help us. One of the other things we're looking at as we close is we're looking at things like financing, because if we work individually, you're going to need a lot of money to even make the most basic of of progresses. So yes, the main aim as to why we're here is to come towards the point of registering our body. Now one of the things we are going to need is to come up with proper structure. We will form a structure, we will form policies, because before, like you all know, when you've gone to register, they ask you for things like memorandum of association, articles of association, all these things. You understand, So these will come with a joint effort. So we're going to have a coordinator, and also we shall have to discuss how many committees are we going to form. For instance, we talked about the disciplinary committee. We'll have the administration committee, and you have to remember that if we're going to get people that are going to be dedicated, then we'll have to even make a payment towards these people. So for instance, if I'm in a photographers committee, I need to know that there is annual subscription. We'll come up with the amounts that we shall need to pay annually, maybe 100,000 or something like that, in order so that we can be able to maintain and run this thing professionally. Okay, Frank, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was talking to Uncle Ronnie from Statistic about this whole thing of the association, and then he told me that Cliff, they had moved a step. So I asked him if he can invite Cliff, if there was more light on how far they have gone, how did they come up with the idea, and where are they, and what can we do? Because I'm looking at this thing. So far I've seen the Professional Photographers Association of Uganda, and I'm wondering, does it generalize everyone who is a professional photographer, and how does it categorize the professionalism? Like if George is doing wedding photography only and then he's into journalism, how are you handling all these two at the same time?
No, let me just clarify. I don't think he said thief. He must have said thief.
Thief.
Yes.
Oh, like thief.
It's thief, must be thief.
It must be
Not
thief.
thief.
Okay, otherwise you must have.
Because I am aware about that arrangement, but I'm aware about that arrangement. But what was happening? It was between Latif and Giovanni who were pushing that association. But somewhere along the way, I think because there was no response from the photographers and everyone was just laid back, they decided, let them just first put it on hold. But they had actually gone a long way in the process of registration.
It is actually getting it's getting back on because it had the likes of Gatimo, Tim Luanga, Moon Art, Latif, Ronnie for Artistic. There was also James was part of it at some time, Paramount. And from what I hear and what I've gotten through email is, one, the MOU was already drafted. It was just having a small bits of legal adjustments, legal jargon, you know how you guys phrase your stuff. Then the bank account, and I think by tomorrow, Thursday, they should be looking out for willing members. So Latif, having traveled, he had traveled up country for some work. He got back, I think, yesterday. He should be knocking on the doors and checking on those who are willing to come and add more to it. Because 2019, and it was the most active point of the Professional Photographers Association, whereby we had some trainings, partnered with Shetty, the other, and Wild Coffee.
That was before the lockdown.
That was before the lockdown. And when the lockdown hit, everything went on a still for a while. But Latif has been aggressive, pushing it to inclusive.
Okay.
I think from my side, I think what we need to really concentrate on is moving forward.
Exactly.
If we are to wait for guys to join,
it will take a while.
It's just going to hold us back.
And speaking of moving forward, just 1 second, I want everyone to know that we are actually streaming live on Facebook. The channel is Professional Photographers Society in Uganda. So everyone out there, please subscribe and share the link as we discuss this. And if anyone has any something contribute or a question towards us as we close, please send it through on Facebook or all our live streams that are up. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Zoom as well. So please send through the questions as we wrap up, because we want to see where do we go from here. The one main thing is that we wanted to know that we have at least a coalition of the willing. So everyone that is contributing either physically here or is online, just know that you've de facto joined what we call the coalition of the willing. Yeah?
Sure.
We are enough numbers now to cause quorum, to move, right? Yeah. Even if we are 5, but we are more than 5, and if we are 10, but we are more than 10 right now, yeah? Now we have enough numbers to move. It's very good to know that there's actually been efforts done before, and we want to now augment this. We want to encourage these efforts. So we will, as we conclude, we are going to make sure that we get in touch with the people that have been trying to form this, and we tell them now that, you know what, now we have even added more numbers. Let's continue pushing this, to a greater. Yes, please.
As we are looking at winding up, I'm of a view that we should understand that what we are up to is not something small.
Yes.
It is really something big, but then we must face it. And I would suggest that it is only that challenging that we should appreciate that it's making sense to us. If at all it wasn't challenging, it's not making sense. You're right. That said, I come to realize that a very big number of small groups have got efforts in this. Because as we are sitting here, there is some group somewhere where we are not, because they're looking at it as the whole of Uganda. There's some group somewhere, maybe in Barra or still in
Actually,
Kampala.
I was talking to some guy in Fort Portal, and he said there are 500 photographers in Western Uganda.
You understand?
And they have a body.
You understand? So they are somewhere, they are working on their thing. And they are calling it Professional Photographers Society. This thing of Professional Photographers Society, before we arrive to what we call the association, we should start on the baby steps of amalgamating those small groups wherever they are. And we should come to understand that this meeting shouldn't be the final meeting.
Of course.
For this. And how do we come to arrive to that?
We're going to create what we call a steering committee for coordination. So we create a steering committee for coordination. Basically, we will, among ourselves, choose which people are good at coordinating. If you feel like you're good at coordinating, you will reach out to at least the other, what we call now, small groups, and see how we can do another meeting where at least we get a representative from each and every one of these, Once we have a representative from each and every one of these, then we look at constitutionalizing, or at least we form a way of structuring this, that in these small associations, we can create a Soviet of sort.
Okay. What I'm trying to mean is the issue of we're going to come up with coordinators. We're going to do this. I think it will make us take long. If at all the number that has come here and that have joined via our famous Zoom, if at all we agree on a date of going to sit again, you understand? On that date, we give ourselves enough time and expound on several issues, because this is an ice-breaking meeting.
Exactly.
And then that day, and we will come up with some good time to expound on very many issues, from which we shall then come up with issues of this is the coordinator of this, whatever. This is the constitution we should come up with. But then we can't say that there is a certain group that is going to come up with coordinators. Which group is we don't even know. You understand? But if at all we say we come up with a date, which date we're going to sit, have enough time, and expound on these issues. I understand we shall not finish that day, but then we shall have taken some good some issues serious on the baby steps. And that's my suggestion.
Okay, so we have some questions from online audience. One asks, and we as photographers or as companies, we know this, that sometimes the employees that are hired, they leave so early, they leave so fast. First come, first, they leave so fast, in and out, so the challenge of people piggybacking on a company that is registered as employees, there's a challenge of these people that keep coming in and going out. Okay. Then another person asks, wouldn't it be better if registration of staff is not held as a priority?
Can you mention those companies?
This is Lifetime Events Media. The first question was by Fab Studio. Then Lifetime Events Media asks that I think registration of staff should not be such a priority on the side of the association. Once one has your company ID that is valid, an appointment letter, they are your employee, and that can be a start. So this is a very good one, a good suggestion, that what we could do is that if a company registers as a member of the association, the staff will only be valid if they come with an appointment letter from that company and an ID from that company. You understand, So as a company, when you register in the association, you don't necessarily have to commit yourself to everyone that is now working currently with you. The only time they can present themselves is when they have a valid ID of the company and a registration, rather an appointment letter.
On that one, You see, I don't have capacity. I'm giving an example. I don't have capacity to register as to the association, but I would like to be a member of the association. Me being put under a company which is prone to getting issues with me because I'm an individual, they might fail to pay me. You understand? Where do I run? You understand? Yet, for this association, for it to work on issues, you must be what?
A member.
A member. You understand? We should appreciate that if at all we're going to outsource, if at all we're going to help these people, if you have to outsource maybe people to help you in a certain event, our issue would be outsourced from within the members of the what?
The association.
The association. Whereby if at all you get problems, for instance, a FAB's question, where employees or people that we get to help us, they get away from the function very quickly. If at all you're going to outsource people, outsource still from within the what? The association.
The priority, yeah.
You're going to outsource this one is people which are members of the what?
The association.
The association. And they are subscribers to the what? The association. It is very easy for us to tame them, but it's not very easy for us to tame a person who is not a member of the what? Of the association.
Understand.
You get my point?
Understand.
So it is two-way traffic. The company is gaining, but also we are going to help individuals that are not good companies.
Yes.
To also thrive in the industry. Maybe one day they also come up with companies.
Yeah, that's very. George has something.
Yes, this is George for Tending Pictures. Well, let me comment something small about that issue. Well, this is according to me, as George. Well, when we're looking at this association, why don't we look at photographers first, and then we look at the companies they are working for? Because here, what I think, we have very many photographers around here in Uganda. But if we are registering them as photographers, it makes more sense than registering them as photographers under a company. Look, there are very many photographers who are doing what are they?
Freelance.
They are doing freelance. They don't have a company, they are their own brand. But they are photographers. And they are not even willing to work under a certain company.
I think what we could look at,
So what here, let me just finish. Here what I'm saying, we can register individuals, but if an individual is under a certain company, good and well.
I think what we could do for individuals, I could also suggest, my suggestion here would be, what if, okay, there's a freelancer, but at least let them get recommended by a registered company. Can we look at options of recommendations where someone can get recommended?
There's also control.
I mean, the thing is that if someone recommends you, if we set procedures for recommendation, under what circumstances can someone recommend someone? Like, for instance, if someone comes to your company and say, recommend me to the society, what do I need to recommend you? I'm not just going to recommend you if I've not worked with you, if I've not interacted with you. Like, for instance, there is people that we have all worked with, and you say, I can recommend him. Yeah, maybe the drone pilots, for instance. Yeah, you can say this is a very good drone pilot, and I can recommend them and this and this. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think what we are sort of trying to mix up is individuals and companies. Yeah, so we need to get to a point where, because truth be told, there are photographers who are thriving as individuals. Yeah, and there are companies that are also thriving. But then we need to find a common point of how do we blend these two. Yeah, because look, case in point, look at banks. Yeah, a bank will give you a loan as an individual, but it will also give you a loan as a company. You get so let's look at such a scenario. Yeah, and try to create a platform that allows me as a freelancer to
be a part of the association. That allows me as a company, because, for example, truth is, me, I won't register as an individual. I would want to register my company as a part of the association and probably get a placard and put it on my wall in the office and say, this is a part of, a member of the Uganda Photographers Association. But there will be someone out there who would want, I'm just an individual, but I would also want to have an ID in my pocket to show that I'm a part of the association. So you get what I'm saying? So we need to think through that line.
Can I chip in a little? Would actually, based on what the association is going to stand for, the society, it's photographers. So to set the ball rolling and not to sideline some other individuals, I would suggest we can first have the take of photographers. Those who are registered and have registered companies, it would be a plus. Those who don't have and are freelance but are serious about the cause of the collective body, they are welcome. Because you find a banker who is a hobbyist but is actually making equally good money from photography. So
as we discuss this, I also
as a freelancer, first and foremost.
As a freelancer, I think first and foremost, you must be law abiding. Yeah? You must have a national ID. You must be registered with URI. That means you have a team. You must have a team. I mean, you can't
I
just...
think what we need to appreciate here, and this is very important, is that we're not going to get everyone that has a camera and goes out there and calls themselves a photographer as a member of this.
Exactly.
Yeah? So we have to appreciate that. And why are we setting up this is because we want to set a standard to sieve out, like you've said, to be able to sieve out and create a standard amongst the people that can be a part of this, yeah? Because this does not only come as a collective, but it comes with responsibilities, but also privileges, yeah? Privileges that if we go, for instance, we can ask for photographer loans. We have been talking about financing, yeah? We can ask for photography loans, and the banks can design clearly loans that are meant for photographers with the favorable payment terms, repayment terms, and with the favorable interest rates. You understand, yeah? So we need to look at this as a responsibility, but as well as a source of privilege, yeah? So there can be people out there, but for them to join this, we need to have some way of sieving them, like you said, of structuring this so that we know that if we are to lobby for credible bodies, we also a credible body, and not just a collection of, quacks and shoddy individuals. Then we go lobby a bank, and then instead we rob it. You get it, yeah? Yeah.
Let me give you an example of Uganda Law Society. Not every person that has passed through LDC is going to go and do litigation in court, much as you have LDC. You have to be certified by Uganda Law Society. And you have to be working with a certain what? Law firm. These firms are registered first, and also lawyers are also what? Registered, certified by what? The society for them to practice. The reason is they are cleaning the what? The profession. If at all our aim is to professionalize the industry, things to sympathize with those that don't want to be a part of the movement, then we're not going to move. We are leaving out the cardinal, the primary goal, which is to professionalize the what? The industry. We are helping them, and they're also helping us because we're part of them. You understand? So, much as you want to do freelance, do freelance. But then you have to be a member of the what? The society. If at all you happen to fall prey to certain things, then you're not a member of the society. You will not identify with us, and we can't help you out. You understand? The only people that you can bail out are those people. And we're going to put this clear to the public. If you are to work with anyone, work with them on the grounds that they are members of the what? They are of the association. This is how people are moving with the association, their societies and all that. Exactly. Clients will come to understand that I'm going to hire this person, but my number one question is, are you a member of this association? Yes. Where is your ID? That is why your staff must have IDs of the association. You get my point? That's why I have to tell us, this is my staff, there are 10. We shall be giving you IDs for the association to 10 members. Whereby, if at all you happen to get problems outside there, association will bail them out, not your company, because your company is a subscriber for them. You get my point? We are not going to ask you money for subscription, maybe 200,000, maybe 300, or any money that we come to agree with upon, for purposes of the association to move. But for these people that are working with you, because they are the manpower for the association and your company. You understand? So for me, my issue and suggestion is, if we are to operationalize and professionalize the industry, things to do with sympathizing with those that don't want to be a part of the movement, then we are not moving. They are not a part of us, and we should leave them out. And it's the reason to why we are coming up with the profession, to say that, who are these people stealing our property? Who are these people stealing our gears? Why do you fear to be a part of the association? You understand? Because the association will take trouble to go down to these companies and come to understand who has R5. How many people do have R6 in Uganda? You get my point? If you are going to say that, you see, government reduce on the taxes of these cameras, we need to know which cameras are in the country. You get my point? That's why Law Society today is good to know every law firm that is what? In the country. Every lawyer that is in the country. If you die today and you're a lawyer, Law Society will get to know that this person is no longer a member of the what? Of the society. He died. You understand? Not being there, you camouflage. You are a photographer, we don't know you. You are working as Golazo. You are not Golazo. You get my point? So, these are the things we should phase out in the industry. And by if we are going to do this, is by going profession. Without which, we're not going to work. And by being professional, we need to have a place over board. We need to pay staff to move this, to run the society. You get my point? These are the monies that the subscription is going to what? Exactly. All that. And that's why I'm saying, as I finalize, because we have a lot of burning issues to put up. We come up with the date. We give ourselves enough time. If I were to look for sponsors to sponsor the date, we shall do that. And we start in the morning up to maybe evening. We are expounding issues. We shall come up with the solution to this. But things of sitting from morning to afternoon, it won't work.
So, I'm just going to now invite Corey to give us the final remarks, and then we shall call this a wrap. At least we have come up with some very important points that we're going to expound on, especially during our WhatsApp conversation. So, Corey, you're on set now.
Oh, well, thank you so much for giving me this chance to talk to you. Whatever has been burning us, whatever we need right now is unity, coming together. What is remaining is joining. We have an association, it is called Professional Photographers Society in Uganda. Gentlemen, wherever you are, come and join us. All these things that we've been talking about will be solved. What we need is to be together and do things as a team. That's all I can say. Otherwise, thank you so much for everything. It is all well done.
Can we set a date for the next meeting?
We need to
think we're not going to be able to come up with a date, Frank. First and foremost, we have to take stock of this so much that we have discussed so far. Yeah. So the minutes, we've been having a recording. So I'm sure Corona will upload this onto a link. Actually, there's a link for Professional Photographer Society in Uganda. First, we shall have to go through what we have discussed, and then we come up with a date. Frank, I want you to now go through this and come up with a date, float it, and then we agree and see which other people we can bring on board from these other places, maybe where people.
Yeah, what I've realized, we talked about insurance. That was from the beginning. We talked about insurance. I'll take time to find anyone who can come from any insurance company, come and throw more light on that, why photographers are not insured. Then we shall find someone still. I'm still wondering, how do these guys, the so-called abogezi b'okumikolo, if you realize these guys these days, they identify themselves with numbers. The mwogezi wa mukolo, number so and so. Do they have offices or they work as individuals? So I'm going to get someone to come and tell us how they managed to reach the goal there, where they are.
Yeah, that's a good start. We get someone from the people that have already established the associations. What we can wait on are the subject matter experts on things like insurance, things like banking, things like taxes. We can wait on those because first we have to have the association, and then they can advise the association.
So they advise the association.
Once we banking, taxes.
Yeah. So for now, you can just get advice from people who have.
Exactly, on how they manage to bring this together and create it.
In other words, this is the work of the association to see that our equipments are insured. So what do? The association is going to go to Uganda Insurance Regulatory Authority, benchmark, discuss issues with the insurance, so that they come up with policies. If I don't have them, they come up with them to incorporate us. That's the work of the association and other stakeholders.
Okay.
So we're going to take stock of whatever we've discussed here. Once we have internalized everything, again, Frank, thank you so much for the input. You continue now to figure out. You can sort at least 3 dates. Yeah.
Yes.
See which one will work best for us. Then we choose maybe a
So
bigger
which day is
venue.
better, like
I was still looking at a next date as a Good Friday. Still, it's a public holiday. Good Friday. Anyway, so you guys have told me not to work over public holidays.
And right now, myself, I have work. I'm rushing.
I pick a weekday.
So if it's a weekday,
like a Monday.
mainly,
Yeah, Monday would be good. You know, Monday almost no one has work. Well, the people are tired. You see, most people don't have work. But what we can do, yeah? What we can do, we can look at a Monday evening. Yeah?
We want a date to expound this issue.
There are so many things that are not touched.
yes. The problem
You arrive
with the
at
Monday,
8.
the problem with the Monday,
We close
because
by
if I
5.
work on a
Cannot
Friday,
use-
Saturday, and I also work on a Sunday, Monday is a
Let me tell you guys.
It's not like it's going to be every Monday. You can just that one Monday. Yes.
But let me tell you guys, this is the thing. You can never agree on time. This room was supposed to be full, and people were saying, "Why did you change the time from evening to morning?" And whoever is here was like, "I have programs in the evening. Can we do morning?" So I was left hanging, like in the imbalance. What can we do? What can we do?
You see, Frank, I received the invitation on short notice.
Yeah.
But if at all we need this, we must sacrifice.
We just need sacrifice.
You understand? So what we do, each company cannot come as a whole.
Yes.
But they can send representatives.
Actually,
For them.
that's
So
what.
what we do, come up with a date, which is a weekly day, for us not to have issues of Nayo Mukolo, Nayo this,
Because we know.
No, of course, we can't do it Saturday, we can't do it Friday, we can't do it Sunday.
That, no, we can't do it public holiday.
Yes, that one now I agree.
But we should say we're going to start from morning. From morning. That's why I'm saying if it means to get sponsor people with breakfast.
Hey, William sponsored our drinks.
We shall do that. But we should come up with a date to expound these issues from morning to evening.
Yeah.
And what we shall do is to engage those that will benefit more from the association. That is the government.
Yes.
You understand? We'll come up with this,
With the date, that is weekly day, we shall abide. We shall abide. However small we shall be, we shall move.
But still, we can maximize the numbers. If you call 3 people, you call 3 people.
Yes.
I invite 3 people. It's not a matter of like I'm supposed to be calling each and everyone. Like you have fellow photographers.
But
Call
then,
those
which is thing not to be on short notice, like it happened. I received it.
But this wasn't a
That's
short
why
notice.
I said I'll attend for 30 minutes, but I've attended for 2 hours now.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. As we wrap this up, we have got enough things to go through to discuss. Now, once again, I would like to thank everyone that has put in the efforts to make this a possibility. We are doing this because we are business people, okay? And one of the main reasons as to why we are doing this is because we know that our businesses will grow if we become serious, yeah? So let us be serious. If we become serious, then we can start to look at even further than where we are currently. You get it, yeah? So let us continue steadfastly at this, be very dedicated to this. Don't worry if some people cannot join for whatever reasons. People will always have reasons as to why they want to.
We shall go to them.
Yeah.
Because we need them.
Exactly.
Yesterday I was discussing with a friend of mine, sorry to interrupt, he's in the filming industry. He was like, you guys, whatever you do it very fast because URSB is on that door knocking. So like whatever we do, we should be fast. Because if these guys come and they attack Golazo, he'll be submitted to under an association. So it will be the association facing URSB, not Golazo as an individual.
There's so many benefits. There's so many benefits in unity, and so let us be serious business people and make sure that we push it as business. Okay? I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone that has joined us physically and online. We look forward to our next meeting. Please let us all make it a point to be there, and because we'll have enough time to prepare ourselves, this is very important. Okay? All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you.